Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that many of you have asked about, a complex hypothetical scenario that often appears in headlines. What might happen if a conflict were to arise in the Taiwan Strait, specifically looking at a hypothetical 2025 scenario? This is a purely speculative exploration based on publicly available analyses from think tanks, economists, and international relations experts. Our goal here is not to predict the future, but to understand the potential ripple effects of such a major global event so we can better appreciate the importance of peace and stability. First, let's talk about the immediate global economic impact. The Taiwan Strait is one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world. A conflict there would instantly disrupt global trade. Think about it. Nearly half of the world's container ships pass through this narrow waterway each year. The closure or militarization of this strait would create a logistical nightmare. Shipping routes would have to be diverted, leading to massive delays and skyrocketing costs. This isn't just about getting your online orders late. It would affect the delivery of everything from raw materials for factories to food and energy supplies for entire nations. The global supply chain, already shown to be fragile in recent years, would face an unprecedented shock. Now, let's zoom in on a specific and critical industry: semiconductors. Taiwan is the undisputed world leader in semiconductor manufacturing, producing over 60% of the world's chips and over 90% of the most advanced ones. These tiny electronic brains are in everything: our phones, cars, computers, refrigerators, and even the servers that power the internet you're using to watch this video. A disruption to Taiwan's production would be catastrophic for the global tech industry. Companies like Apple, Nvidia, and countless others rely heavily on Taiwanese foundries. Without a steady supply of these advanced chips, production lines for countless electronic goods would grind to a halt. We could see a technology blackout of sorts, with new products delayed indefinitely and the prices of existing electronics soaring. The global economy would feel this shockwave immediately, potentially triggering a worldwide recession far deeper than anything we've seen in recent memory. Beyond the immediate economic chaos, we have to consider the geopolitical fallout. The United States has a long-standing policy of strategic ambiguity regarding Taiwan. While not a formal defense treaty, the Taiwan Relations Act states that the U.S. would view any attempt to determine Taiwan's future by non-peaceful means as a grave concern. A conflict would force Washington to make a critical decision. The response from the U.S. and its allies, such as Japan, South Korea, and Australia, would be pivotal. Japan, in particular, would be deeply concerned, as Taiwan is geographically close and vital to its own economic and national security. Any conflict in the region could quickly escalate, drawing in multiple world powers and creating a level of international tension not seen in generations. The diplomatic and political ramifications would reshape global alliances and international relations for decades to come. Then there's the human element, which is the most important and often overlooked aspect in these strategic discussions. A conflict would have a devastating human cost. Taiwan is a vibrant democratic society of nearly 24 million people. They have their own unique culture, bustling cities, and a way of life they have built and cherish. Any military action would endanger millions of innocent lives and displace countless families. Let's also look at the long-term economic restructuring that would follow. The world would be forced to rapidly de-risk and decouple its supply chains. This is a process that is already happening slowly, but a crisis would accelerate it dramatically. Countries and corporations would scramble to build new factories and find alternative sources for critical goods, especially semiconductors. This would be an incredibly expensive and time-consuming process. The United States, Europe, and Japan are already investing billions in building their own chip foundries, but these projects take years to come online. In the interim, the global economy would struggle with shortages and inflation. We might see the rise of new economic blocs, with nations aligning themselves based on shared security interests rather than purely economic ones. The era of seamless globalization as we've known it could come to an abrupt end, replaced by a more fragmented and protectionist world order. Another crucial aspect is the impact on international law and global norms. For decades, the international system has been built on the principle of resolving disputes peacefully and respecting sovereignty. A major conflict would challenge these foundational principles. The response of international bodies like the United Nations would be under intense scrutiny. The effectiveness of sanctions and diplomatic pressure would be tested on an unprecedented scale. How the world responds would set a precedent for future disputes. Would it reinforce the existing international order, or would it signal a shift toward a world where might makes right? The very framework that has helped maintain a fragile peace since World War II would be at stake. The ripple effects would even reach into areas you might not expect, like energy and food security. A significant portion of the world's liquefied natural gas, LNG, shipments, particularly those heading to Japan and South Korea, pass through the waters around Taiwan. A blockade or conflict could choke off these vital energy supplies, leading to energy crises in some of the world's largest economies. Similarly, disruptions to shipping would affect global food distribution. Countries that rely on imported food would be hit hard, potentially leading to food shortages and social unrest. These are not isolated problems. They are interconnected threads in the complex web of our globalized world. A tug on one thread can unravel the entire fabric. Thinking about this hypothetical scenario underscores just how interconnected our world is and how much we all depend on peace and stability in regions far from our own homes. The potential economic, political, and human costs of a conflict in the Taiwan Strait are staggering. It highlights the incredible importance of diplomacy, communication, and mutual understanding. Instead of focusing on conflict, the global community's energy is best spent on building bridges, fostering economic cooperation, and ensuring that disagreements are resolved through dialogue, not confrontation. The goal should always be to find common ground and work towards a future of shared prosperity and peace. The stakes are simply too high for any other outcome. Thank you so much for joining me for this important discussion today.